Welcome to the Forager Podcast, where I talk with cottage food entrepreneurs about their strategies for running a food business from home. I'm David Crable, and today I'm talking with Elena-Maria Hert. But before we begin, I wanted to thank the sponsor of this episode, the Cottage Foodie. The founder, Matt Rosen, was recently on the show and shared that he was inspired to start the Cottage Foodie to help other bakers fulfill their dreams. The Cottage Foodie is an online directory that will expand your customer base and connect you with food enthusiasts not only across your own state, but around the country as well. It's the go-to resource for consumers everywhere seeking unique, locally made treats. By joining the Cottage Foodie, you'll also get to connect and network with an exclusive community of cottage food producers who are passionate about running their food businesses from the comfort of home. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to showcase your talents and grow your cottage food business. To join the Cottage Foodie and learn more, go to forager.com/cottagefoodie. All right, so I have Elena on the show today. She lives in Billings, Montana, and sells European baked goods with her cottage food business, European Baked Delights. Elena grew up in Romania and moved to the United States in 2021. She started sharing her baked goods with neighbors, and they encouraged her to start selling them. Elena started her cottage food bakery in the summer of 2022, and she's not shy to admit that her growth went slower than she expected. She mainly sells products that most people in her area aren't familiar with, so it's taken a long time to find and educate her customer base. It wasn't until 2024 that she started to see significant growth in her business, and now her persistence is paying off with her being fully booked with orders by the end of last year. In this episode, I really appreciated Elena's honesty with sharing some of the challenges of starting a bakery from home, especially when you don't initially find product market fit. And with that, let's jump right into this episode. Welcome to the show, Elena. Nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy that I'm finally here with you.
I know. You've been following me for quite some time, and I'm glad to finally have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation.
Well, I know you've been at this for a few years. Can you take me back to how it got started?
It was in 2021 when we moved to Billings from Romania, and I started to bake a lot for all holidays, and I was sharing with my neighbors because we love to share. And all of them, they were saying, why don't you open a bakery? Why don't you sell them? And I said, I can't do that because I have no idea what are the rules, the laws, and everything. So, no, I'm not getting into that. 1 year later, in 2022, I was bored just staying home because I was staying home with my daughter. She was in 2022, she was 3 years old. I was staying home with her and just spending time together and nothing else. And I wanted to do something else also. So I started to research about the cottage food laws in Montana. This is how I found you. I started to read all what you're saying on your website and read the laws. And I was researching what should I put on the menu and all that. So I was still new. I didn't have the courage to do it. I remember I read in one of your emails, you were saying, just start, don't wait to get the perfect product or the perfect menu. So yeah, I made a menu and I started only with friends and neighbors. And then in 2023, in January, I applied to open a company, an LLC. Then in February, I applied for the cottage food license and I got that also. And yeah, from there, it's history now.
Right. So, yeah, you're fortunate because when you started this, at that point, Montana had their food freedom law in place. So it sounds like you started under the food freedom law.
Yes.
Yeah. So that made it really easy for you to start. But I know it's not the first time that you've started a food business. I saw that taking it way back, you started another one when you were living in Egypt. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, in Egypt, in Cairo, is a big community of Romanians. I was missing home food and our baked goods. So this is how I started. And I said, well, if I make for me, then why don't I share also with the other Romanians? So I made a Facebook page, a menu, and I just started to take orders. And there I was making also, I was cooking, I was making food as well, not only baked goods, because you are allowed. Even the Romanian embassy in Cairo made an order for our National Day and was one of my biggest orders while I was there. It was interesting. It was a good experience.
Well, that's cool. Obviously, that was a side thing, but it was kind of surprising when at the beginning you were talking about how you didn't have the courage to start your business in Montana, but you'd already started a business. So, what was different the second time? Why were you so nervous to start the business in Montana?
Because I know here in US, I don't know, laws are different and I didn't know anything about it. So that's why I didn't have the courage to start that. Plus, when I was doing the research, I saw also that there were other cottage food bakers in Billings. So I said, oh, well, if I start, then what? I will not have any kind of success.
Yeah, that self-doubt is common with cottage food entrepreneurs. Before we get into your, full story here, I did want to go back to your background because I know you grew up in Romania and you have an interesting educational background. Can you talk about what you went to school for?
Yes, I have a bachelor in management and business administration, and I have my master's in management and marketing in tourism.
And what were you hoping to do with your career?
I wanted to work in tourism because after Egypt, I lived in Qatar as well for 2 years and a half. So I worked there for Qatar Airways in the revenue management department as secretary. And then after 2 years, I moved to flight analyst. But then I decided to go back home. And yeah, I ended there with working in tourism. I studied also accounting and I love working with numbers, Excel sheets, and all that. And then in Romania, after going back from Qatar, I worked also for Oracle, the American IT company. I was doing the payroll for Oracle Spain, but from Romania.
So what you're telling me is if you end up having any employees, the payroll side of that won't be a problem.
Well, I'll have to learn how payroll is working here because it's different in each country. It's not the same.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, even though you were a little bit nervous about starting the cottage food business here in the States, it sounds like the cooking side of it, the baking side of it was very familiar to you. Is that correct?
Yes, because I've been cooking and baking since I was little with my mother, with my grandmother. I love to bake, to cook, to share with family, friends, and neighbors. This is how I grew up.
And it sounds like, you held off on starting it for about a year, then you finally decided to step in. So what was it like when you actually started to put yourself out there and sell your baked goods?
In the beginning, I was expecting it will be way much better, but being new on the market, it's taking time for people to know you, to find out about you, to try your baked goods, and to get recommendations. It took me a little bit, but luckily I had friends and family that they helped a lot with recommending me and ordering from me and sharing with others. So one of my great customers in the beginning is my hairdresser. She helped me a lot. She was ordering from me and then she was sharing my business information with her customers. I had a lot of help. And I wanted to thank all of them for doing this for me.
So it sounds like, you started very organically. The growth was slow at first. That's very common and very normal and to be expected. But you said that you actually expected it to grow faster than that. And you also had previously said that you saw other people selling cottage food items in your area. So you thought maybe you wouldn't get many orders. So can you just share a little bit more about what your expectations were and were you disappointed at first?
I know I said that there were other cottage food bakers around in the area, but I was having higher expectations because what I'm selling are unique baked goods here in Billings and in Montana. Because I'm selling European baked goods that you don't find anywhere else here. No other bakery is having them, no other cottage food baker is making them. So when I started, I saw that people will be more interested to try new things from a part of the world where they can't go because they don't afford to go there. Or maybe they've been there, but now they are missing the baked goods from Europe. That's why my expectations were a little bit higher.
That is one of the risks, right? When we're trying to find a niche and we're trying to find products to sell, you want to differentiate yourself, but at the same time, if you're selling products that people aren't looking for or aren't familiar with, then that can pose its own challenge into breaking into the market. So, did you have like a Romanian community or a European community that you found customers from initially, or were you just essentially trying to introduce people to these baked goods?
The Romanian community here is very small. We do have a lot of people from Europe, but I was trying to introduce these baked goods to Americans. Me and my husband, we like to try new food or new desserts everywhere we go. That's why I was thinking that bringing all this here, people would be more interested in trying them.
Have you found that people are interested once they taste them or try them and discover them?
Yes, some of them, yes.
I'm just wondering if you could share a little more specifics about what that looked like. When you said it was slow, what was it like, or what was the feeling like in the early days?
I was having weeks when I wasn't getting any order. I even had months when I didn't get any order. I don't know, 2 years ago, somewhere during fall, September, October, I had weeks, months when I didn't get anything. And then I had other weeks when I was getting 3, 4 orders in the same time.
I think that's really helpful to recognize because I know there are people listening to this that are maybe in the same boat right now or have gone through this. Can you just like share, like bring us fast forward to today? Like, what is your business like today in terms of orders and how much business you're doing currently?
So last year in August, I had my first porch pop up. I was a little bit scared because I didn't know how it will go. And I made in 4 hours more than I make in 1 month usually.
And so that was your first porch pop up.
Yeah, but I worked the whole week.
Do you feel like there was a turning point in your business when things just started to fall into place or where you felt more recognized within your community?
Yes, I think last year started to. So the first year after I opened the LLC and I started, everything on paper and it was so and so. But then from the second year, everything started to work a little bit better. Usually I get more orders during holidays for Easter, for Christmas. And even during summer, for example, 2 years ago, during summer, everybody wanted pies, strawberry rhubarb pies, because I had them on the summer menu. And then during fall was kind of dead. Last year, during summer was so and so, while during fall was the peak. And then came Christmas, and in December, I sold in 2 weeks a lot.
Obviously, you had a super slow growth process, and I'm just wondering what kept you going during that period of time because it sounds like it was a very long time for you to get to a point where you had significant amount of orders.
I really don't know. I'm still trying to understand because I'm asking for feedback after customers pick up their orders. I allow 1, 2 days, 1 week maybe, and then I ask them for feedback. And 2 years ago, I had people saying, "Oh, yes, everything is tasting so good. Everything, we love them and we'll be your customers from now on and we'll order again." Well, 2 years later, I didn't hear from them anymore.
Yeah, that is the one thing, right? What people say and what people do can oftentimes not be congruent with.
It's confusing me. That's why I'm trying to make it clear that I don't mind having a negative feedback as long as you are honest and tell me, okay, I tasted this, but I don't like it because it's not what I like. And I would feel better like this than to tell me, yes, we loved it and we'll come back and we'll be your customers from now on.
This is a very common. Oftentimes, people will say they love something, and I'd say it's not just limited to the food industry, like in business in general. People will often have a great experience and say they'll return as a customer, but then they don't. Do you feel like you have gotten in front of those same customers again?
Well, I'm sure they had the chance because they are my followers and on Facebook because this is what I sell mostly, but nothing is happening. And even sometimes I wrote to some of them and no answer after that.
Okay, I think there's a couple things that happen here, right? One of them is a lot of times, you just might not be top of mind for people, right? They might forget about you, and that's very common. The other thing would be like if they say that they liked something, but then they actually didn't, and they choose to buy from someone else. And it sounds like that might be happening here, and it might be because are selling mostly European baked goods, and maybe they just prefer more Americanized baked goods. That might be the case. When you're asking for feedback, how did you phrase it? I'm just wondering if you just said, "Tell me what you liked," or were you really specifically trying to extract like constructive criticism from them?
I'm asking, how did you like your order? Was everything okay? Or sometimes, did you like it or not? Please, can you leave a review on my Facebook page or on Google? Let me know if everything was okay. I mean, I don't know.
Have you gotten any like negative or like less than stellar reviews online?
No. This is the thing that I didn't. If you look on my Facebook, I have only 5-star reviews.
Yeah. And I can kind of just see from your stuff that you obviously know what you're doing. And I'm sure all of your baked goods are at a very high standard. But, you're trying to sell to a lot of people that, they just might prefer buying American baked goods instead of European baked goods. And have you explored selling more American baked goods to try to cater to what people want?
No, if I have to move to American baked goods, then I will not do it at all anymore.
Well, I did see you've sold a few, right? Like you've sold pies and cupcakes, I believe.
Yes, yes, and muffins but I wanted to make a combination, to attract them to try a little bit also and to buy you American baked goods, but in the same time to try the European ones. So that's why I kind of made a mix. I had a mix of baked goods on the menu. But if you look this year, I updated the menu and I took out the American baked goods. I have only the pies, 2 pies, because they sell very good. People like them, so it's not bothering me having them there. But my main reason why I started this was to share my home traditions, my country's traditions, and European baked goods in general with the people from Billings, from Montana, from this community. I want people to try to see that there is something else outside America,
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And I actually really respect that. And I think we're seeing that it's working, right? The challenge with doing a bakery, which is selling something that people are less familiar with, is it's just going to take a longer time to find your customers, to find the people who really resonate with your product, and then to get them used to buying different types of baked goods, right? So I think we're seeing that. Like you've started to turn a corner. It's taken a couple of years, but it seems like you're getting there where you had a lot of orders at the end of last year, and we can expect that to just keep increasing, right? So it's like a balancing act, right? You've provided some products that are more familiar to people to allow them to learn about you, but then you've stuck to what you're passionate about. And I think you've actually done a pretty good job of finding that balance. It's not atypical for this process to take a few years for a business like yours. And we can only expect that your orders will just keep growing and increasing as more people learn about you.
I hope so because I really want them to try to see how food tastes in Europe as well. Because I know a lot of Americans don't have the chance to travel outside US or not even outside their state. So if I was in their place, if somebody would give me this chance, yeah, I'll go for it. I mean, I have it right here in my city. Why not to buy? But yeah, people are different and I understand different mentality, different taste, and it's just taking time, as you are saying.
It also totally depends on where you are. Like, I live in California, and I know for a fact that if you were where I am, your business would probably be doing phenomenally well, right? I don't know if you've experienced that in Montana, if you find people there are just less adventurous with the type of food they try.
I think so, yes, they are less adventurous. And also, I suppose you are living in a bigger city, even Billings. Even if Billings is the biggest city in Montana, is having only 100 something thousand people, while I'm coming from Bucharest with 2 million people.
I feel like as your business grows, you'll probably, attract more people from a wider area. And that's where shipping would really be beneficial for your type of business because you sell very specific baked goods, right? And you'll gather customers that are looking specifically for what you're offering. And if you have the ability to ship, you'll be able to, find those people and get them what they really want. Is shipping something that you've looked into?
In fact, yes. I'm sad that I'm not allowed to ship to other states because I already have people asking me to send them some baked goods. I have some Romanians in Florida, in Oregon. I have some friends that they worked with me at Qatar Airways and they moved to Texas and they want also to order, but I'm so sad that I can't really help with that. And I would love to do it because as you said, yeah, it will be a very successful business like that.
Well, you'll get there. I'm sure of it. We've obviously talked about how you focus on Romanian baked goods, but we haven't really talked about exactly what you sell. Can you share a little bit about what your menu looks like today?
This year I added to the menu the Madeleines, three different types. Then I added some Italian chocolate hazelnut cookies. I have 7 items from Romania on my menu. I have a lot of finger foods like cookies or pastries, cream puffs. I have also some honey walnut pretzels. I have some Polish kolache cookies, which are very popular between my customers. They love them. They are filled with strawberry jam. They love my breads, the traditional Romanian sweet bread and Slovenian bread, povitica. This is all what I left. I used to have more breads on the menu, but I left only these European ones. The pies, as I said, the strawberry and pretzel pie and banana cream pie are very popular. And then during December and last month in February for Valentine's Day, my chocolates were very popular. The small Dubai chocolates.
That's actually one of the things that I think is really fascinating about your business is you list on your website where your products come from or originate from. and a lot of it's from where you've lived, right? And it's kind of a international menu in some ways. And I was trying to count, and I saw at least 10 countries that are represented in your menu. I think that's just a really cool thing about your business. Is that like intentional to try to make it super international?
Yes, because I love traveling.
And so some of these products, are they products that you discovered on your travels? Or have you like taken cooking classes in other countries?
No, I didn't take any cooking classes. I have friends in different countries and Romanian friends that they moved to those countries. Some recipes I got them from them, and others I just tried them, discovered them on the internet and tried them, and they were having the right taste.
I know you lived in Egypt for a while, but I didn't see any products from Egypt on your menu.
I get there one day. But I just didn't have time. I wanted to add some items, some baked goods on my menu from Egypt as well. But when I posted the menu, I it was such a short time because December I was full with the orders and holidays. January I was kind of sick and I had to take a break to take care of my health and also work on the new menu. Then I had to prepare also the menu for Valentine's Day, so I didn't really have time to add a lot. But yeah, I it's on my list.
You said you have like 7 products from Romania. I'd imagine these are things that you grew up with. Which items are the most meaningful to you personally?
The traditional Romanian sweet bread, cozonac, because this is something that everybody is enjoying during Easter and Christmas in Romania. When you make it, it's smelling so good in the house. So yeah, this is my one of my childhood goods that I grew up with. And also the walnut cookies, nuci umplute, these are very popular in Romania, and I grew up with them. Another one is the Christian pastries with Turkish delight, cornulețe. I mean, everybody's making them, and we love them. The hard part is that some ingredients I don't find them here in Billings, so I have to order a lot from Amazon.
I'm sure that affects your pricing to a large degree.
Yes.
So, what are your products generally priced at right now? Like, what are some of your most popular products and what do you sell them for?
Usually I sell them by pound. So 1 pound is around $20. I tried to bring them to the same price, not all, because as I said, depends on the ingredients. But yeah, mainly the finger food items are by pound and they are $20 a pound. Then the breads are 22 each, and the pies they are 25.
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but just looking at your products, they look like they're really labor intensive, like much more than, say, a typical baked good from the States.
Well, if you would know how much time it's taking me to make only those walnut cookies, in order to make 2.5 pounds of walnut cookies, it's taking me almost 6 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I can believe it. I just, from looking at the pictures, it looks like if I were to make them, it would probably take a couple days. I mean, that's a long time to be spending on a product that it sounds like you said, 2.5 pounds of walnut cookies takes 6 hours, and you're selling that for like $50, correct?
Exactly, yes.
Does that mean that you're essentially, I mean, even if that $50 was just straight labor, it would be like less than $10 an hour?
I know sometimes with some of the things I have to make a compromise because you can't have very high prices because then people will not buy at all. Anyway, I am sure that they think that these prices are very high. I saw now that if I'm having, for example, I'm posting smaller amounts like smaller boxes for lower prices, they sell more quickly than if I say I have 1 pound of something left and I want to sell the whole pound.
Well, I'm just trying to figure this out in my head. That 6 hours can't all be active time because otherwise I would just say you wouldn't be selling them at all because I don't see how you could be making any money from selling the walnut cookies if they took that long to produce.
I told you with this, I can't make them more expensive than that because I have to make yeah, sometime for 1 hour they have to stay in the fridge also, but the dough has to sit in the fridge. But I have to make the dough, then I have to shape from the dough small balls, same size. I have to measure them, yeah. Then I have to put them in the shape that I have, which I use it on the stove. I make a mess, a big mess on my stove when I make them, but this is another story. Then I have to shape the edges for all of them, and then I have to fill them, and then I have to put powdered sugar on top.
Well, I definitely understand you. There's a point at which you just can't sell them for more. But also, there's a point at which it doesn't make sense to sell a product, right? Just because it may be the price you can sell it at and the amount of time or the cost to make it is just too great. So, are there products that you feel like you don't make a whole lot of money from them, but you just want to sell them personally because you want to share them with your community?
Yeah, the walnut cookies and the bread, the Romanian bread. For the Romanian bread is not only the labor, but the ingredients are expensive because I have Turkish delight, which I have to order it from Amazon. In Romania, you can find it everywhere in any shop, but here, not really. Then I have rum, like rum extract, and I use a lot, and it's not very cheap here. I have raisins. I have a lot of eggs. I have for one bread, I have to use around 4 eggs plus another one for the top. So yeah, the ingredients are costing a lot, plus the labor.
Well, so clearly there are some products you're not making as much money on. Which products do you feel like are profit centers for you?
The cheesy sticks. What else? The pretzels, the honey walnut pretzels, cream puffs, and madeleines.
Yeah, because that's pretty typical in any business. There'll be some products you don't make as much money on. There'll be some products you do make a lot of money on. But then you have the diversity of products to attract the number of customers that you need.
Exactly.
It sounds like you kind of hit a turning point last summer when you did the porch pop up. What was your business looking like up to that point? Were you selling at events? Were you just doing custom orders from home? What was it looking like?
I was making only custom orders from home. I never went to any events because I have my daughter. Well, she started last year in September, she started kindergarten, but until then, she was just home with me. So I didn't really want to leave home. My husband is working a lot. He's off during the weekends, but otherwise, he's working a lot. So I didn't really have too much time and I didn't want to go out of the house to go to farmers market. I tried to, but here the farmers market, it's already full with vendors and it's very hard to get in. You can put yourself on the waiting list, but you never know if you'll get there or not because the waiting list last summer when I asked was about 12 people for food vendors. So yeah, that's why I said, okay, we don't go to any markets. Let's try to do a porch pop-up because it's here at home. It's easy to set up everything, and I have my daughter here. She doesn't have to go anywhere.
Are you going to be trying to get into the farmers market every year? Is that like a goal for you?
No, not anymore.
And with the porch pop up, how did you promote that? Like, how it sounds like it was very successful. Like, how did you get people to come to it?
I announced 1 week in advance that I'm planning to have a porch pop-up on my Facebook page. I send messages to all my neighbors, my friends, And then I even posted if they have specific baked goods that they would like to find at the pop-up. Some of them answered, they left their comments, and I took into consideration what they said. Also, I had to consider what was okay for me time-wise, because I have to take into consideration the labor and how much it's taking. And then in the week with the porch pop-up from Monday until Saturday, sorry, when I had it, I posted every day something, and I reminded them about the pop-up, and I gave the address and all the baked goods that they will find, and I posted pictures with the baked goods, and I made a raffle to make it more interactive, more attractive for customers. And here my husband helped me. He's helping me quite a lot with ideas. We are talking and sharing ideas.
How many pop-ups have you done at this point?
Two, I had one in August and one in October, one for summer and one for fall. I wish I could have made another one in December, but obviously the weather here in Montana is not allowing you that.
And how many do you plan to do this year?
Honestly, I didn't plan yet. I don't know. Maybe at some point I was thinking to have one each month during summer because the weather will be nice, but we'll see.
Well, I saw like on December 11th, you put out a post that said you were fully booked out for the month, and that wasn't from a pop up. So, are people just buying from your website? Are people communicating directly with you? How are you like promoting these orders that people are doing? Like, are they custom orders? Do people buy certain boxes or sets of things from you?
Usually they see on Facebook the menu and they choose from the menu. I want 1 pound of this, another half pound of that, because on the menu they are posted by pound. But in my post, I'm saying that I'm also making all kind of mix because I'm making platters. I think you can see on my page, I have platters with all kind of mix of baked goods. So I can put half pound of this, another half pound of that, and make you a big platter. Depends for what they want. If they just want to try, they will tell me, I want this bread and I want a pound or half pound of this. If they are ordering for an event or something, they will like platters. And I'm open to any kind of combination or mixes they want to make from my menu, as long as it is on my menu. I mean, I can take into consideration for the future whatever they would like and is not on the menu. But for the moment, I'm concentrating and selling only what's on the menu.
Do you feel like people are buying for family gatherings or events, or are most people just buying for themselves?
From what I saw until now, most people bought for themselves. I would love to see more customers buying for events because I love to make platters. I love to have variety and to offer them variety.
So you're doing these orders, direct orders, you're doing the porch pop-ups. Have you done any kind of pop-ups or events elsewhere to get the word out?
No, not yet. I didn't. Because I know you need to have a contract and I didn't know anybody anywhere, so I didn't try to go.
Do you feel like the main limitation there is just the fact that you have a young girl at home? Like, is that something you're eventually gonna try to do?
Yeah, I was thinking of trying that and I was talking to my husband about this. Maybe this year we'll try to go out.
I mean, it's actually pretty incredible how far you've come with just doing direct orders. The fact that you haven't put yourself at any like public events yet, you've clearly done a pretty good job of getting your word out, getting customer recommendations, putting yourself out on social media. I would only imagine that like if you actually started selling at a public event, that your business would grow even more as people learn about you more.
Yeah, that's true. And I was thinking at some point to attend. There is an event in every year in November, Food and Gift Festival. It's called. It's a 3 days event, and in order to attend this kind of event, you need to bake a lot. And I can't bake for 3 days because it's from the morning, from 9 o'clock until what, 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So in order to bake enough to have for 3 days and still have the baked goods fresh, it's kind of impossible for me. I'm only one.
Well, maybe we get to the point where you get someone on payroll, right?
Yeah, why not?
I see that you started this in May of 2022 and then you registered as an LLC in 2023, but it looked like you changed your business name in 2023. Is that correct?
Yes, because that was the name of the page. Well, the page was made in 2020 when I started this idea of a food influencer slash blogger, something like this. I started with Instagram account, and then I made a Facebook page as well in 2020. And I left it like that until 2023 when I decided to open the LLC, and I said I have to change the name to make it something that represents what I'm doing, what I'm selling. I mean, I wanted to be more specific.
What was the page called up to that point?
Mom cooking with love.
Yeah. And so this was a page not really to sell products, right? It was just to share information.
Exactly, yes.
Well, I see that you're in Amanda's digital product community course. And you also have a site where you sell informational products. Can you share a little more about that?
Yes, yes. So I'm following Amanda since 2023, I think. And last year in November, I joined her digital products community because, sometimes it's exhausting and very hard just to bake nonstop in order to make money. And I see that digital products are working very well nowadays. And I said, let's give it a try. For example, when I don't have orders for baking, maybe I can make money with digital products. So, yeah, I joined her community and went through her courses. And I have this 10 store shop, European Bake Delights. And I'm trying to sell their products in order to help other bakers that are in the beginning, as I was. It's not something complicated or something very sophisticated that I have there. It's just easy products like baked goods calculator is an Excel sheet with explanations and steps and how I calculate my prices. And I'm thinking that maybe this can help other bakers that are in the beginning. And I'm on Facebook in many cottage food bakers groups. So I see a lot of them having this problem or issue with how do I calculate the price for this and that. So they sell, but they don't know the price. And they're asking, how much should I charge for this? How much should I charge for that? And to me, sounds crazy to start a business and bake and sell stuff, but you don't know how to calculate the price of what you are selling. Then how you are expecting to make money?
I think it's getting more and more common for bakers to add an additional revenue stream by selling digital products. I'm just curious, what has been your experience of being in Amanda's course?
Well, there I met other bakers. The community is wonderful. All bakers are helping each other, and Amanda and Irena, they are helping a lot. And I learned a lot of things about the digital products which I didn't know because I didn't have any idea. I didn't know about Stand Store. I didn't know how to make a digital product. I didn't know how to promote one. I didn't know anything. For me, it was starting from zero. And Amanda helped a lot. She's giving great advices, and obviously she know what she's doing.
I just wanted to pause for a quick moment to talk more about Amanda Schonberg and her new course. You can hear her on episode 80, and I can't think of a better business coach than Amanda. Her course will help you make extra money by adding digital products to your business, just like Elena has done. I have reviewed her course portal, and I must say it is the real deal. It's community plus content plus coaching, and in my opinion, it's worth far more than what she's charging. Let this be the year that you start to earn extra income and have success the digital way. To learn more about Amanda's course, go to forger.com/digital. Now back to the episode. Would you like to eventually get to the point where you can focus fully on helping people start their own businesses and get to the point where you're not selling your own baked goods anymore?
No, no, no. I would like to do both. Yeah, I would love maybe to have a constant or a decent income from digital products and to bake less. But this doesn't mean that I want to stop baking. No.
Well, I know that you've had a little girl at home as you built this business. What have you learned about prioritizing her while prioritizing the business at the same time?
You know, it's hard. And whoever says that, yes, you can create that balance and you just have to organize yourself. And no, it's not true. Because when you have a lot of orders, you can't just bake for 2 hours and then spend the rest of your day with your family or with your daughter. You have to finish those orders. So I had days when I just had to let her play in the house by herself. Of course, there, me supervising her, but I had to be in the kitchen most of the day, or even sometimes before holidays. And I would have loved to make things with her in the kitchen for us for holidays. But I didn't. I had to tell her, sorry, we can't do it right now. We'll have to do it later. And then I had to keep my promise and bake with her whatever she wanted after holidays.
Have you found anything that's helped make it easier to kind of manage your time?
Yes, I got to the point where I decided to spread my orders in such way that I can make time also to spend with her. Well, now it's easier because she's in a kindergarten from 8:30 in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which gives me enough time to bake. And after she's coming from kindergarten, we can spend time together. But also was very hard for me in the beginning because until end of 2022 I didn't have my green card. I wasn't allowed to work, and I wasn't able to drive, and I wasn't able to go anywhere. We depended 100% on my husband until I got my green card. And after I got my green card, I said, well, what's the point? I have to send her to daycare in order to go to work. And I don't know, I heard so many scary stories here in US with daycares, and she's our only child, and it was hard for me to trust somebody else to take care of her. So yeah, I wanted her to stay home with me. That's why even I wanted to start a business or to do something from home that allows me to be home with her.
Can you share a little bit more about like the limitations that you had before you got your green card?
Well, I was only allowed to drive for 6 months because I was still having my tourist visa on my passport. But after that, you are not allowed to drive. You are not allowed to work. You are not allowed to have a social security card. You are not allowed to have anything until you have the green card.
And what was the feeling like when you finally got your green card?
That I can finally leave because coming from a country where you are independent, where you can do whatever, you can have a bank account, you can drive, you can work, you can vote, you can do whatever you want. And then you come here, and what's hard is that Billings is not a very big city like in Bucharest, for example. I didn't need a car because there you can take all the public transportation or walk anywhere you want. Here you depend on a car 100%. And not being able to drive and just waiting for my husband to come from work in order to go to Walmart to buy something, it was very hard. I couldn't take my daughter to have play dates with other kids. All the time we had to invite other kids to our house. Yeah, it was, I don't know. It's like you are breathing again, finally.
It's just so interesting because, a lot of times we think about people come to the United States to have more freedom, maybe from a country that felt oppression, but just having that kind of the opposite experience for you, it's just interesting to see how difficult that was for you for that period of time.
Yeah, it is stressful, and you have to go through a process. You have to gather a lot of evidence, papers, pictures, story, information, declarations from family, friends, a lot of things in order to compile them together and submit all this information to immigration. And after that, they check. And this checking is a very long process, took them 1 year.
What do you feel drives you to continue pursuing the business? Because it sounds like you obviously are primarily focused on being a mom. And you also, at least for a couple of years there, doesn't sound like it was really generating a lot of money, while you're trying to build the business. So what do you feel like is really pushing you to pursue the business?
So I'm a proud Romanian, and I love sharing my traditions and my country's baked goods and food and everything. So I really want people to try them. And sometimes I get customers that they tried some of my baked goods and they tell me, "Oh, the taste reminded me of my grandma when she was baking this," or "My mother used to make this for me when I was a little kid." And this makes me so happy because I know how it is to discover something that brings back childhood memories.
Well, you finally got to the point where it sounds like your business is really starting to take off. Where would you like to see it go in the future?
My dream is to have a coffee shop slash pastry shop where I can bring people together and have their coffees and try my European baked goods. But I don't know if this will really happen.
Well, you never know. You didn't think that you would start a cottage food business when people first suggested it to you, however many years ago.
Yeah, that's true also.
Well, you've been at this for a few years now. What advice would you give to another cottage food entrepreneur who's just starting out?
Never give up, because if you enjoy doing something and you have a dream, you have a target, don't give up. Because in these 2 years I had so many days when I was telling my husband, that's it, next month I stop, I'm not doing this anymore. No, because I'm not making any money, and why I'm doing it, and nobody cares, and why do I have to continue sharing? And I mean, it was very hard, but even after all this time, here I am, continue doing it and updating menu and selling more. And so, yeah, never give up, because you never know what the future can bring you.
Well, thank you so much, Elena, for coming on the show. Now, if people would like to learn more about you, where can they find you or how can they reach out?
They can find me on Facebook, European Bake Delights, also on Instagram, or on TikTok, European _baked_delights.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing with us today.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
That wraps up another episode of the Forager Podcast. For more information about this episode, go to forager.com/podcast/137. And if you're enjoying this podcast, please take a quick moment right now and leave me a review on Apple Podcasts. It doesn't have to be a long review, but it's truly the best way to support this show and will help others like you find this podcast. And finally, if you're thinking about selling your own homemade food, check out my free mini course where I walk you through the steps you need to take to get a cottage food business off the ground. To get the course, go to cottagefoodcourse.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.